everybody, this is Randy with Carchaeology, and I've had several people ask in the comments on different videos of a tour of what I call the lab. So the lab, as I call it, is really just my garage and the place that I do my thing. I've got it split into two different sides. I've got sort of the workshop side, which is here. You can see Pearl, the Cadillac, is here. This is where we've been working on it. And you can see the sun testers and stuff in the background. But I'm going to do a little walk around and show you some of the trinkets and treasures that are hidden within the lab. And hopefully you enjoy the trip. So basically, the building is about 2,500 square foot tin building here on my property where I do all my stuff. And, I bring a car in and start the process and hopefully drive it out under its own power. Obviously, Pearl here we've got torn apart, but I just got the gaskets in for that, and we should be able to reassemble that engine and hopefully fire that car up this week and maybe drive it out of the garage under its own power. I've got this 190 SL Mercedes in here. This is a car that belongs to a friend of a friend. I helped find the car for him and have been kind of babysitting the process of getting it up and going. Completely rebuilt the engine. It's now mechanically sound. That was done by a couple of local shops. Now it's time for some cosmetic stuff. And so I'm going to spearhead that and hopefully get this car shined up to a level where he's going to be real happy with it. Now, for years of hunting old cars and old junk, I've amassed quite a bit. And the lab has been a spot where it has gathered. Now, it's changed many times. This is actually an article done on the lab or my garage when we first moved in here. This is probably about 15 years ago, 12 years ago, somewhere in there. And you can see it's changed a little bit. And obviously all the cars in there have changed quite a bit as well. But some things still remain. You know, the little Porsche there is my dad's old Porsche. It's still here, of course. There's me. I think I've aged probably about the same as the garage. We're both a little ragged now, but it is what it is. I've got my toolboxes, of course, assorted stickers and old weird stuff. This is the Monster Garage toolbox from when I was on that show, and we won the tools. So that's a fun thing. And then just lots of little memories and photos and interesting things from when I was involved in Herbie Fully Loaded. I ended up with a bunch of extra parts. This was a piece of body trim that I had put onto an old switch plate to turn into it like a little plaque. And I doled out a bunch of those to Herbie fans all over the place. And that's one that remains. Old Otto Haas sticker and card. One of the relatives of the owners of that shop sent that to me. We've got the Chip Foose Overhaul and Bus. That was a show that I was involved with behind the scenes in finding a good, suitable VW to build for that. And Hot Dog Fred obviously was the recipient. And I got to see that bus come together and be there for the reveal, which was super fun. And Chip signed that and gave it to me. And I've got it framed here on the wall. Movie World, Cars of the Stars Museum sign. That was a place I hung out as a kid. My dad knew the Bruckers, the owners of that place. And so anytime they'd have a car auction or a car show there, we'd get let into the museum and I'd run crazy through that place. Lots of different signs and assorted things. My old Autolite equipment cabinet here. I've got all my hoses and hose clamps and stuff in there. TVA logo from when I was doing the New Beetle parts and accessories. That was our logo for that. And then I've got the mess. Got a huge mess piled up here. This was a workbench at one point. Now it's just a pile. And I've been working on trying to clear out space. In fact, this whole empty area here was completely full a couple weeks ago. but I'm working my way through all of that so that I can actually have a little more organization. I'm going to slip back here real quick. This Honda motorcycle here is kind of a special one. This was the Cycle Guide magazine test bike for 1983. It's a V45 Interceptor, the first year. And this particular bike, this exact bike, was the long-term test bike that Cycle Guide had. They rode the bike for 3,000 miles, and then they gave it their Bike of the Year award. And then they chrome-plated and polished the whole thing for the magazine cover. And I'll flash a little picture of that up here so you can see that. And I'm in the process of wanting to bring it back to that sort of chrome trophy topper look. Rims are polished, the frame was chromed, and all of the plastics here I'm going to bring to a hydro dip place to have done back into a chrome finish as it was back in the day. It'll be a display only item, but a neat piece of Honda history and a cool display item without a doubt. And my shelves upon shelves of interesting old junk. You know, it's gotten to a point where there's just too much of it, though. I'd like to have more clean space, and I've really been wanting to go through everything, maybe have a big estate sale, yard sale, auction, something, to clear through a lot of the little antiques and trinkets and assorted stuff that I've amassed. And there's tons of it, obviously. Not only the stuff that's here piled up on workbenches and shelves and stuff within the shop, but I've got a shipping container that's packed solid full of stuff. I've got a big tin shed out in front of the shop as well that's also full. And it's just too much. You know, we're not going to be here forever. I can't take all this stuff with me. And eventually it might be nice to downsize and get into a different place. And it'd be nice to not have to move all of this. So if you're seeing anything that you're like, ooh, I got to have that, definitely let me know. Because I'm in the mood. I'm ready to sell some stuff. There's some cool old signs from a bank. You'll like the way we handle auto loans. Confidence, a guiding principle in our financial dealings. There's a little assemblage bit of art that I put together some time ago in a cool old frame with weird little found objects. And, you know, just, I don't know, every one of these items has some sort of little memory to it. And that's kind of the fun of old junk. But the memories will always be around. And the stuff, you know, it's just stuff. I have no idea what that's all about. So obviously the sun machines in the background of the videos and stuff I do are something that several people have commented about. And they're really just here for looks. It's a fun background to use for filming and for doing stuff, and to kind of add to that whole laboratory quality of what I've got going on here. I haven't tested or tried any of these things. They're just cool looking, you know, space takers and dust collectors, really. But I've got a whole bunch of them. I don't have a distributor tester. I think that's the only one of the big pieces of equipment that I lack in the bunch. And I don't really need one or want one. But anyway, those are those guys. Here's some cool product stuff up there and miscellaneous junk. It goes on and on and on. There's Wilson from Castaway. He's up there watching me do my thing. We've got our dynamite and our 104 octane booster. So that's pretty much the dirty side of the lab. Now over here on the clean side, gotta stay tuned for part 2. Watch for the clean side coming up soon.